I have to say, like, the first couple minutes of live is kind of awkward. But here we are, another week. I feel like it's been just a roller coaster this week, and in the best way possible. I don't know. I'm like, what is life? And I can't believe it's still tourist season. Like, this is the longest tourist season ever. Usually in my experience, tourist season always goes by really fast. And yeah, it's just like, we're still in tourist season? Like, what? But I guess that's the tourist way, right? It's very slow. But yeah, I guess I'm just going to talk about something I'm super excited about, and that is my new crystal that I got from Everyday Magic. I am like dying, you guys. Like, this crystal is giving me life. It's fluorite. So I get pretty much most of my crystals from Everyday Magic. It's this shop in Durham. Bakara Winter is the owner, and she is the creator of this deck here. And she has another tarot deck too. But yeah, this crystal is just giving me all the witchy vibes. It's like every little color of fluorite. It's kind of hard with this video, but this is like teal. And then it's like a purple and like a storm, hurricane tsunami at the bottom. But I got this today in the mail after like waiting a week and a half, and I'm just like so excited. Also, I got a new deck. And I got two new decks, actually. So this one, it's called Oracle of Oddities, and Claire Goodchild, she has a tarot deck that I want, but it's like, the original edition is sold out. But she has these oddity Oracle cards, and this is the third one. There's three. I like worked my way backwards, so now I gotta catch up and get the other two, but I connected more with the third edition, but they're so cool. I'm gonna show an unboxing video of this later this week. And then I got these vintage astrology cards from the 80s, and there used to be a lot of astrology cards out there, and like in the 70s and 60s, but that's like no longer a trend. Like, we need to start bringing that back. I guess maybe I need to design my own astrology deck, but it's really cool. So I'm like gonna use one of those today at the end of the reading as like a clarifier. But yeah, so thank you for tuning in. Today we're going to do the Scorpio full moon spread in my ebook. And if you're a Patti Smith fan, Robert Mapplethorpe is the figure here in this art. You can't really see it, but it's on my Instagram, so go stalk me. But Robert Mapplethorpe is an incredible photographer. The Guggenheim in New York City had like this whole installation over the summer, and like me and my best friend Michelle, we went, and it was just phenomenal. He was one of the most incredible photographers, like very avant-garde, just incredible. So Robert Mapplethorpe, get to know him, research his work. He's an icon, Scorpio man, like to a T. But that was the inspiration behind my Scorpio spread. So I'm just going to keep saying this, but my ebook is available on my website if you want to purchase it. It has 70 tarot spreads. They're incredible. They're amazing. I made them over the course of like 2 years. So if you need a spread to use when you're reading tarot, like, buy my ebook. You will not be disappointed. Okay, that's my little promotional jab. But yeah, it's crazy. So yeah, let's get into the spread. What's on the altar, I have the tarot decks I usually use, which is Spoilia Tarot, and this has the astrology signs as well as the 4 elements in it. As I mentioned, these 2 decks we're going to use later. And then I have Morgan's Tarot, which is another oracle deck, as well as postcards from the liminal space. So we're going to be using these throughout the spread. I have my amazing fluorite, obsessed, lapis lazuli, another one of my babies, sodalites, and smoky quartz, Florida water, sage, you know the drill. So I'm going to get into the spread and start shuffling the deck. My sage has actually been lighting better for some reason. I don't know. We're like starting to have a relationship, a working relationship, but it's been a struggle. But I'm getting the rest of my loot soon from my New York apartment. So I'll have more of my witchy tools with me and like my better sage. But in the meantime, how is everyone doing? How was everyone's full moon in Scorpio? Are we surviving? What died for us recently in our lives? What's being reincarnated, transformed? I want to know all your secrets. So tell me. Okay, like, look at that. We got it going. Okay. Cleanse these guys. I haven't used this yet. I literally got this deck like an hour ago, so I'm like psyched. I'm on like a crystal like high right now. Like crystals really do make you high. The best possible way. Okay. Let that go for a little bit. So it's been really surreal. So this is the first time in a very, very long time. And I think it's because, like, I don't know what's going on with the universe, but the universe, like, is playing games. But literally every client I've read for the past month, the same, like, 4 cards keep on appearing. And I'm just like, we are in some energy right now. Like, it is strong. It is super strong. So it'll be interesting to see if the cards pull up again, if we have like some of our normal stalkers. If you missed any of the past readings, you can go on my YouTube channel and backtrack on some of the past readings and catch up to kind of see like what has been collectively pulling up for everyone. But yeah, it's been wild. I'm just like, if I see the Virgo card one more time, I've been pulling that like a motherfucker. And I'm just like, do I really gotta talk about Virgos? No offense, Virgos, I love you. But I'm just like, wow, like, I gotta talk about Virgos again? But literally, it's like every single reading I've had with clients this month has been the Virgo card. Who else is a stalker? The Libra card's a stalker. Queen of Wands. And I'm like, that's my baby. I love the Queen of Wands. Why is the Queen of Wands? And it hasn't been showing up in a good position either. So I'm like, okay, we need to get our power back. But I don't know, it'll be interesting. So we have 3 retrogrades happening next week. We have Venus and Gemini. We have Capricorn and Jupiter. And then we have Capricorn going back into Saturn. It was in Aquarius for a little bit. But if anyone's having their Saturn return, like me, be interesting to kind of like, we had a little taste of Aquarius, and now we're going back into Capricorn. So, going back and reflecting the patriarchy. It's another word I've been saying so much. I'm like, can I stop saying this word? When can I say the matriarchy instead? That's a better word. Let me look at. Oh, hi, my aunt popped on. My aunt's awesome. My aunt is a Sagittarius, so very fun. Also my godmother, but very fun. Okay. My shuffles have been on point. Why am I so hyped? I don't know. Maybe, I swear, it's the crystal. It's like, you guys, get you some crystals. If you don't have any crystals in 2020, like, don't at me. I'll send you a link of where to get some, but it's like, how are you surviving, though? Okay, kind of lousy shuffles. I'm wearing jeans. I know, unpopular choice for quarantine, but I can't. Like, I love my jeans. I left basically all my jeans in New York, and I'm like, I'm sad. I'm crying. I'm a jean whore. I have like at least 40 pairs of jeans, and it's like my life. I'm looking at some of the comments. Since I'm like blind, I gotta like go up into my phone like an old person. Okay, well, I'm glad some people had some good, like, Scorpio vibes. I was in a weird space. I was in a very weird space on the Scorpio full moon. I was so lazy. I didn't do anything magical. Really. Which is unlike me. I'm like, I usually do a spread. I, like, try to get witchy, and I was just not feeling the full moon. I don't know why, but the next moon is mine. Well, no, in 2 moons is the Capricorn moon. But, yeah, I was just not feeling the moon. I did not do anything. I did not live up to my witchy expectations. But, it's all good. We're going to make up for it here and do the spread together. So some shows are back. There's this show on Netflix. It's called Dead to Me. If anyone's watching it, it's amazing. Season 2 is back up. I was watching that last night. It's with Christina Applegate, and I'm really bad at the other woman's name. I totally forgot, but she's gorgeous. So that's a great show. It's kind of funny. It's like dark humor. I don't know. It's very different, but it's good. That show's back on Netflix. I've been watching Defending Jacob, Miss America. You guys, you gotta watch Miss America. That's the best show on TV right now. Like, Little Fires Everywhere ended, and Miss America is like the best show. I'm like rewatching it because it's so good, and I never really rewatch episodes after I watch it, and I've been rewatching this, so I'm hyping it up. So let's put our feet planted on the ground, drink some water. You probably can't see it, but I have this Aries constellation necklace. My friend Renee got me this for my birthday. It's so cute, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like all my energy is coming from this necklace, like the Aries hypedness. But yeah, I don't know. I have like pyrite earrings, so I got to have some crystal earrings, and then the Aries necklace. But there's a lot of masculine energy coming through, and it's fine. And we're in the Scorpio spread. It's all masculine. But anyways, okay, so let's get into the reading. Have water, have your wine, stretch. So, card number 1. So this is how we can transform our relationships with money and what we value in life. So we have the 6 of Coins upright, and this is another stalker card I've been getting a lot in the weekly readings as well as client readings. The 6 has been showing up, and I love 6 energy. 6 is all about balance, and Scorpio rules other people's money, and it rules either like trust funds or taxes, like owing Uncle Sam, like if you haven't paid your taxes, or also too, it's just like, it's a very financial house. Like if you have a lot of Scorpio placements in your chart, it's good energy, it's good money coming through. So I like to see it, and I love to see the 6. This is one of my favorite cards. It's turning out to be. So the 6 of Coins, this is all about exchange. So, and this is positive exchange. It's like what you receive, you're getting back. It's being reciprocated. And also it's a sense of your worth. Like you are taking value and pride in your work that you do in the world, and you're getting rewarded for the work. And in regards to your relationship with money, it's like you could be getting an investment back on something. Either it's a tax return, or you're finally getting the stimulus check. It could be literally be that. Literally the government is giving you money. And maybe, you felt like you had to owe money at some point, and maybe you're owing less than what you thought, so it's kind of a good thing. Or you're finally, if you're having some kind of creative projects, or there's some type of prosperity coming through. But even if it's not in the position of money, it can just be, and are you being valued in your relationships? Do you feel like the love that you're giving back to others is being reciprocated back to you? And if it's not, what changes can you make? How can you let things die that aren't giving you anything? So Yeah, I love to see it. And I feel like, you know, we're realizing the real value isn't kind of in like these institutions what they're giving us. Like the real value comes within ourselves. Like we're the ones who are worthy. We're the ones that are able to put ourselves in the direction towards prosperity and wealth. No one can give that to us besides ourselves. And with Scorpio, like with this moon, it's like a transformational shift. Like things that have been working against us in the past are dying. And it's dying because we're letting them die. We're letting past behaviors and patterns die that no longer serve. And there's beauty in that. There's beauty in death. And that's why I love the Death card in tarot. I love Scorpio energy. I find it really positive, even though it is very dark. But just because death is dark and it seems grim, it doesn't mean that, you know, nothing can be rebirthed from the death. Because Scorpio is all about regeneration. It's about the cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. So a lot of things might be rebirthing for you. And even if the exchange is you sharing ideas with others and trying to start a business together, that's another way how this energy can transmute and alchemize in your life. But yeah, I think this is a great start. You know, Six of Coins showing up, and there's a harmonious relationship between giving and receiving at this time. Okay, so card number 2. What do others owe us? So we have the King of Wands upright here. And, you know, the patriarchy, this country, this world, man, they owe us some shit. And I'm just like, I'm over this, like, this daddy energy. It's very annoying to me. I'm like, I'm so over it. Like, and it's like, you know, like they need to come together and like give us what we are owed. Like, can you care about us? Like, is it so hard for you not to care? Like, you know, we make this country. The people make this country. Like, our hard work, blood, sweat, and tears make this country. And, like, we need to get the right people in a position of authority to show us some real leadership to help us survive through this, not only on a physical level, but a financial level. So with these 2 cards showing up, it's like, you know, who in the headquarters do we need to contact to make sure that we're getting what is owed to us? And again, if like we can't get it from, you know, the higher power, the patriarchy, whoever like fuck shits are in charge, then we need to try to find a way to just give it to ourselves. And that's what's happening. Like, that's the rebellion that's happening right now, you guys, is that we really are trying to band together and look out for our own. Like, we're realizing that, you know, power, it doesn't give back in the way that it should. And that's why we're collectively going into this feminine Aquarian shift. You know, it's not going to happen for a while, but slowly the bricks are being laid for this new foundation. The earth is healing itself. The feminine is healing itself. But I feel like with the 6 of Coins, you know, it's like we're going to have to rebel and just, you know, try to separate ourselves from the fuck shit. Because this energy here is not giving us the proper counsel. It's setting the world on fire, and not in a positive way. And we want to see this card like as someone who we can go to for guidance and creative inspiration, and like, okay, let's game plan and work together and how we can figure out and have a betterment for everyone. But the King of Wands is just showing up in a really annoying position, and it's been annoying me for a while. And that's what, like, we are owed good leadership. And I miss the Obamas. Like, goddamn. Like, we had a good y'all. We didn't even know. And it's just like, you know, I see this and I'm just like, oh my God, I'm so annoyed. I'm having a moment. But, like, what do others owe us? It's like, we're owed, you know, to be able to survive. Like, we did not put this on ourselves. Like, this is in our life. Like, we're all going through this. Our whole life is on hold because action was not taken when it should have been. So, end of story, period. I'm a clarifier with King of Wands. Wow. Scorpio come through. Death is the healing. And it's true. It's like, these paradigms have to die. Like, if I have to say that one more time, again, annoyed. But that's just what is happening, like this slow death. But it's being healed within us, because now we're realizing that we are the ones who are value. We are the ones who are going to make the change, not this masculine energy. It's like we can't trust council right now, and it's sad. Like, you want to be able to trust your leaders. Like, we can't do that anymore. And like watching Miss America, it's just very relevant because they're trying to get the EPA ratified. That's what the Miss America, the show, is about on Hulu, that everyone should be watching. And it's just about like we used to be able to really rely on politics. We used to really be able to rely on people actually thinking about each other and wanting the best for not only each other but the country in general. And we don't have that right now. So it's just interesting how you're watching a show that was made that's about the 70s and 60s, and then 50, 60 years later, like, shit has gotten worse. And it's like, aren't we supposed to evolve and get better? Disconnect. But death is a healing. So eventually we will, we're starting to heal. Like, this is a process. It's a soul level process. And, with that evolvement, with the soul death, things have to go. That is no longer serving us. We're realizing that we have the value in our own hands. We're the people are going to make sure each other have hands that are full, because we know our impact. If we give back to someone, most likely they will give back to us, like our neighbors. But in the big White House, there's fuckery loose, and that's not the story. So we have to keep it small, keep community small, keep connection small. And death is the healing. Like, this is not going to be forever. And this pandemic is coming through to heal not only the earth, but to heal human connection, what's important to humanity, and, to put our perspective in a new direction. Wow. Okay, so card number 3. What do we owe others at this time? So we have water reversed. So as I mentioned before, we have the zodiac signs and the 4 elements in this deck, and water is reversed here. So it is about like emotional energy, compassion, and we owe others some nurturing abilities right now. Like, we owe others emotional understanding and some spiritual enlightenment, but we have to find a way to really care about each other more than we've ever cared about each other before. Because honestly, like, our past lives before this virus, we weren't really thinking about each other. Like, we were kind of pretending, like, okay, we're doing like a good deed, to keep our karma in check, but did we really care? Not. I mean, I'll witness myself. Like, I mostly just cared about myself. I mean, yes, I love the people in my circle, but I wasn't volunteering, really. I wasn't doing, like, much for the community. And I think a lot of us are realizing, oh, yeah, I was just putting my own self-interest first. And now you're starting to see the value in community and the value in really emotionally having empathy for people who are really going through a hard time, and for yourself. Like, also, like, you owe yourself to look inside of your soul and heal it. Like, how can I be a better person? How can I also connect with my emotions? Because we're going through a lot of emotions. Like, every day I'm going through something. Like, it's a birth, a rebirth, and a death every day in my life. I'm just going through the motions, and everyone is collectively feeling that as well. We're all feeling like we're going through something. It's like, one minute you're watching a Netflix show and you forget that this is happening, and then the show stops, and then you're flooded with all the emotions of this crisis, and it's a reality check, and then you have to try to process that. But how do you process things in a pandemic that should have never happened in the first place? Should have never happened, but here we are, and we have no manual in how to move forward. Like, we just have to take each day as it comes, and we have to be patient and have compassion for our own emotional journey that we're trying to transcend, but also someone else's. Like, we have to be understanding, we have to be kind, because everyone's going through something. It might, not show on their Instagram. They might be like happy-go-lucky and still trying to promote some bullshit product, but like $100 face cream. But at the same time, it's like behind the scenes, it's like people are dealing with some real shit, and like you are as well. So just be understanding. Like, there's no reason to be cruel or mean at this time. And a lot of people want to be mean and cruel because it gives them a sense of control in this uncertain time. And that's not the answer. We just have to really just come from a place of understanding like we've never had before, so we can have this equal amount of exchange. It's like support, not only a financial level, but also in a level of value. Like, do you value human connection? Do you value the support system? Do you value your community? Do you value the people in your life? And if not, that's where, the depth has to come through. I'm going to pull a clarifier of Morgan's for water. Eternal bliss. So there we go. It's true. You'll be a happier person if you gave a damn. And I feel not only about yourself, but about other people. And eternal bliss will happen. Like, there are moments in the storm of tranquility, of peace. Because water energy, it's like a current. It's up and down. It's rapid. It's like the pace moves. But it's emotional. And we're able to find bliss and peace in that because water is eternal. It's the ingredient for human life. We need water. We need energy to come from water that is compassionate. We need connection, emotional connection, as well as connection in exchange. All right, let's go into the next card. So card number 4. What secrets are we keeping? Tell me your secrets. Okay. We have the Lovers upright. And it's funny because I've been bashing this card for a long time. And the Lovers, it's not that great. But, it's about communication. Because some shit's going to come up. Because the Lovers is the ruler of Gemini. And Gemini is going retrograde next week. Venus is going retrograde in Gemini next week. That's what I meant to say. So we're really going to be bringing up a lot of dualities inside of us, and we're going to have to face them and connect with them. And if you know your birth chart, if you have Venus in an air sign, if you have Venus in Gemini and Sagittarius, you will be affected the most. So really, just be aware of things that are going on if it's retrograde. But Venus only goes retrograde every year and a half. So it's been a while. It's been since 2018 since Venus has been retrograde. So it's a great reflecting time to really see, how are my relationships? How am I communicating with the people around me? And it's about friendship. So who are your friends right now? Like, who have you been reaching out to in quarantine? But the Lovers, it's just having a better sense of self-love. How can you give yourself self-love in the retrograde that's going to be happening in a couple of days? How can you give more love to others, more compassion? But how can you communicate that love? It's not so much about the physical act of love. It's more so about communicating love, telling people you love them, telling people you miss them, being there for people who are going through a lot, and making sure with the exchange that they're being there for you as well, because what goes around comes around. So I'm going to pull a clarifier for Lovers. But yeah, the Lovers card, if you're interested in tarot, I really think you should take a deep dive in the Lovers card. The Creative Tarot by Jessica Crispin, who has designed this deck. Spoiler Tarot. She has an amazing book, and I suggest you buy it if you read tarot or you're starting to learn, because it really talks about these cards in a realistic way. But the Lovers is, it can be about union, it can be about partnership, sure, but it's about communication and connection, because it's the ruler of Gemini, not Libra. Perception is beauty. Do not forget that. And that's how the Lovers is showing up. Perception is beauty. Do not forget that. So be aware. Be aware of who's coming back into your life and who's leaving your life during the Venus and Gemini retrograde. Because this is what that card is representing. Is representing that retrograde that's going to be happening, and it's going to be affecting us, even if it's like you don't have Venus in air sign, or you might not think it's going to really affect your chart. Look at your houses, if you're familiar with your birth chart, but just be aware. Like, everyone's going to be affected in some way by this retrograde that we haven't had in 18 months. So it's a big time. Like, it's a shift. We're having an emotional shift here, and we're also having a mental shift. Also, connection could be solidified. If there's a relationship, or there's someone that you want to connect with more, it could be solidified. It's like past soul forces are coming together to create this union. So it is a time for union in unexpected ways, and kind of let the channels open you to unexpectancy, because it's very interesting. It's kind of fun. Gemini energy is unpredictable, and it's fun. Like, I love Gemini energy. So just kind of go with the waves. And don't try to really put a lot of control. Just let things go the way it's supposed to go. So I wanted to say something else about this retrograde. So a lot of things, if you're trying to do a lot of writing, trying to express yourself too, it could be a little bit difficult. It's not, the Venus energy is very easy to flow with, so I feel like if you are trying to publish something, short distance travel, also be rocky because it's happening in Gemini, but just be careful that you're expressing the right thing, and just be prepared that you might not be able to get your ideas across as quickly as you thought you could, and they might not be as well received as you thought they would be. So be prepared for some rejection and some kind of, I don't want to say setback, but just be prepared that not everyone's going to get on your ship. Not everyone's going to agree with you, and that's okay, because that teaches you about the other side. Just be aware that you might have some combativeness happening if you're trying to express yourself in some way, especially in social media platforms. Like, be careful what you say. Make sure you stand in your truth, and don't just repost a meme because you think it's cute. Make sure it's what you believe, because people are watching, people are judging, and you don't have that supportive energy right now with communication and with social media presence. So just be careful what you're putting out there at this time. If you don't have nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all, as you probably have heard in kindergarten. Okay, so next card, number 5. So what glitter are we bearing under the surface? And that's how I see Scorpio. Scorpio is it's dark, it's mystery. Underneath the surface, there's glitter, there's glory, there's boldness, and it's very beautiful, but you kind of have to dig your way deep to get into that. You got to work the Scorpio energy. If you know a Scorpio in your life, or have Scorpio placements, you got to dig. It doesn't come easy. So what are we bearing under the surface that is either positive or negative? And we have Judgment coming up reversed. And I like to see Judgment upright. I'm a fan of Judgment. But with this card reversed, this is just showing that the transformation, it's still in process. And this is a card of regeneration, but resurrection. It's a card of resurrection. So what from the surface, what are we bearing that's coming up to the surface that we're being aware of? It's we've been trying to push it down. Things we maybe know about ourselves, secrets. What secrets are we trying to push underneath? About ourselves, about other people, things we're kind of scared to face, trauma, things we need to heal. What is that to you? What are you trying to push down that is trying to be resurfaced, to be explored? And if you don't know what it is now, believe me, with the retrogrades coming up, you're gonna know. Because you can't keep everything underneath the surface forever. Eventually what makes its way down will make its way up, and that's how Judgment is showing. Is we have to contemplate some things and really get inner feelings and realize, is it someone from our past that we either are starting to like, or we're realizing I don't really want them in my life? What are we trying to contemplate about other people, you know, or how we can do things better. Like, oh, maybe in the past I resulted to anger and I always pushed, you know, compassion down, but now I'm trying to resurface it and like heal that instant reaction to rage. Like, I don't know, it could be that. Like, there's a lot of things that we've been trying to fight, and you know, because it sits in that root chakra and that sacral chakra. Like, you know, when the lower chakras are heavy, when you're trying to push down some shit, and judgment will bring it back up, and you know, karma will bring it back up, retrogrades will bring it back to the surface. So there's contemplation time. Like, Scorpio is bringing up the dead and also things that should die for us, because ultimately death is the healing. Death is the healing, and then we have resurrection. So, you know, you can't stop the process of resurrection. Like, it's gonna happen, and let it happen. Just let it flow. Let it flow. Let the emotions flow. Explore it. Explore it. You don't have to have all the answers, because answers in 2020 doesn't exist. I just realized that. Like, we don't have the answers this year. Like, what's that? It's all questions. It's all questions to be explored. And that just goes with relationships of people. Like, if there's someone you want to explore, someone you're interested in, explore it. Like, we're getting rid of that Capricorn energy. That Capricorn energy is shifting. Like, Saturn's retrograde in Capricorn is going to bring up some things for us. But at the same time, I feel it's kind of our last reflection of the patriarchy before it really dies. And with the patriarchy, you know, Capricorn energy, it's like Capricorn is all about structure. It's all about conformity and how you would think things would go. And now it's like, with relationships, with people, with life, there's no rule book. Like, that's being thrown out the window. We're finally starting to realize the rule book is shit and we're throwing it away. And I like that. Let's make our own rules. Like, let's kind of like create something new. And that's what the Aquarius, the age of Aquarius is going to be teaching us in the next like 2,000 years. We won't live to see the day, the whole entirety of it, but we will be like recreating some rules, and I think that's cool. So if there's, you know, just don't have any plan of action. Just take each day by day. If you want to explore something, a person, a thing, a place, just do it. Like, don't have a game plan. You can't make any rules. You know, what's society right now? Non-existent. Okay, so we're going on to the next card. What shadows need to be brought into the light? Oops, sorry. We have the Ace of Swords. So what shadows need to be brought into the light? So we need to start speaking things into existence. We need to start speaking our death to existence. We need to start acknowledging things that have died on the mental level, though. So it doesn't have to mean like you see this death. This is just a thought. Like, what thoughts are you now trying to move away from? What shadows? Like, we all have a shadow side. We all have a dark side to explore. And if you're aware of it or not, you know, that's on you. That's your own personal work. But we need to start thinking differently. We need to start acknowledging that the dark exists inside of us. And the dark is fun. Like, just, you know, it's systematic racism thinking that dark is negative and light is positive, because honestly I think it's more interesting to explore the unknown and to explore the darker side of us that doesn't get to see the light, that we don't actually get to reflect upon. So we need to start throwing, again, the rule book out the window, stop caring about what other people will probably think about what we're doing, and just do it, because there's no right or wrong, there's no rules. The patriarchy is dead, or dying. And with the Ace of Swords, it's just like, you know, try to have some freedom in thought. Like, think differently. Think it in the form of taboos. And have that guide you and create a new life. Because that's going to help with this resurrection that needs to come inside of you. If, like, you mentally think about it, it's going to resurface. So you can't keep pushing down those thoughts and, like, oh my God, like, I just realized about this person. I'm going to think something complete opposite because I want to keep myself naive. Like, that's ignorant. Playing a card from Morgan's. I love this deck. It's so weird. What's happening? Yeah, I would like to know as well. But that's what, the Ace of Swords wants us to reflect. It's like, why am I feeling this? Why did this thought even come to my mind? That's intuition for you. You don't need to answer that. But it's like, what's happening? What's happening about this job? What's happening about this person? What's happening in the world around me? What's happening with myself? Like, think what's happening inside of me. What am I not facing that I'm trying to run away from? Scorpio energy. Okay, so last card. How can we honor and make use of our esoteric gifts? Wow, we have another element showing up. We have air reversed here. So in connection to Ace of Swords, air energy. So we can explore esoteric passions and gifts by just doing it. Communication. Like, it's going to be interesting with Venus and Gemini retrograde. So we have air here. So if we can't communicate our needs to others, maybe we need to counsel the dead. Maybe we need to get a Ouija board or get a spirit board and have a pendulum and ask some questions to our ancestors. Maybe that's our source of counsel. If we can't get it in our reality, we can get it beyond the veil. And I want everyone to really start practicing some type of soul spirit discovery. It's fun. Paranormal activity is not scary if you do it right. It's really fun, and I love it. I'm kind of obsessed with my spirit board, and I think it would really help if you really connect with the people who are by you all the time. You just can't see, because it's always a crowded room. We're never alone, and we need to start really diving into Scorpio energy and consulting the dead. Have them be our guides. Have them give us something that we can't see, that they see for us, because they're a witness to our lives. And we're in shadow period. This is reflection. Quarantine is shadow work, and we need to start really contemplating some different avenues of how we can think about our life and our existence. And if we feel like part of our soul is dying and our old ways are dying, what's closer to death than our guides? What's closer to death than our ancestors, the ones who have passed beyond the veil? Because soon we'll be beyond the veil one day, if we like it or not. So, don't be scared of death. Don't be scared of physical death, but don't be scared of things that have died on an external and internal way. Just allow it to just stay dead, and only resurrect what you need to still heal inside of you. I'm going to pull one of the oddities, one of my new decks. I'm popping this deck's cherry. So this deck, you guys, it's bomb. This is one of the coolest decks I bought in a long time. So we're going to pull one of these, and then we're going to pull one of these astrology cards. So these astrology cards are more like a teaching tool. It's great if you're a beginner astrologer, or if you just like astrology. So it's very different than a normal tarot deck, FYI. Okay, so I'm going to pull one of oddities. I like when my reading connects with the oracle cards. No, this is happening. This is becoming a stalker, but we should talk about it. Okay, so we have the root chakra being expressed here, and then we have Neptune. So this is what the astrology cards look like. And again, I'm going to make a YouTube video, but so we have Neptune here, and then we have the sacral chakra. Oh my god, why do I want to say sacral? The root chakra. So lower chakra. So I'm going to read what this Neptune card means. And currently, Pisces, Neptune's in Pisces, and it's going retrograde in June, I believe. Either beginning of June or end of May, it's going retrograde. I'm trying to remember all the planets, there's so many. But soon we're going to have to deal with this energy. And I think it's just kind of coming up as a reminder, this is what's on the horizon. we have a couple retrogrades that are going to get center stage right now next week, but this is what's coming, is this retrograde. So this is Neptune in a favorable way. So Neptune's influence is abstract, it's adaptable, mystical, spiritual, psychic, enchanting, exotic, and it brings with it inspiration towards accomplishments. And Neptune is the ruling planet of Pisces, and Pisces is the last house in astrology. So what this is connecting is, like, Pisces is where things finish, it's where things end, and it's inspiring to have a lot of Pisces energy. You can think of Kurt Cobain. It's creative. There's like creativity in the death and the ending of a story, right? You got to wrap up the story. You got to wrap up the last chapter. So what is your last chapter looking like? And are you connecting with that on a level that feels secure? Like, are you secure with the endings in your life? Are you secure with letting things die so that there can be a rebirth in the next couple years? Are you setting a rebirth for yourself for when Neptune goes into Aries in the next couple of years? Are you setting a rebirth for yourself so that after the social distancing quarantine thing, you're a new person? Because if you don't like something dying in you, it's gonna die. Like, you don't have a choice. The death in tarot, the death card in tarot, it does not care if you're a child. It doesn't care if you're old or you're young. Like, it's going to come for you. And that's on an internal level. Like, you just have to realize that, there's some old patterns and behaviors and way of life that we're all collectively experiencing inside of ourselves, that's not our story anymore. So how do we want that story to end so that we can begin something new? And then we can feel secure in the new story that we're trying to write for ourselves, the new person that we're trying to become. How do we feel connected to the earth right now? How are we finding inspiration towards accomplishments? What are we inspiring so we can have some new goals in our life? Some new goals that aren't this, but that are this. So Scorpio came through. Scorpio's like, I'm going to bring the death. I got it. Hold my beer. But I was talking about the root chakra, but I just feel like, yeah, it's time. It's time for us to not only have a rehealing within ourselves, but for the earth to reheal for us. And it's happening on more ways than we realize. And we can distract our eyes and our attention with Netflix, but ultimately that's going to end. Like, that show ends, that season ends, and you are in reality. Like, there's life after quarantine, but it's what you make of it. And that's up to you. Like, that's your story to write. But first you got to let this chapter die. That's no longer serving. So, yeah, I don't know. I think that's it. It just came quick. But it's a lot that we need to start thinking about and start doing. Like, the retrogrades are going to bring a new sense of discovery for us. And it can be fun. But it's also kind of scary when things start coming back up to the surface. You're like, wow, like, I buried that deep. And I forgot about that, but now it's here to be resolved and reflected upon. So I guess I have to do the work because it's not going to go away. Like, the thoughts and feelings you have that need to be explored, they don't go away. They stick with you and they bother you until it's finished. And that's kind of what this Neptune energy is showing, is like, we need to heal, but we need to start at the root. We need to start and work our way up towards enlightenment. But this chakra system, it's all connected. And it starts at the bottom and works its way to the top. And that's how this energy is with judgment reversed and death is the healing. So what we're burying underneath the surface, the glitter, it's going to have to rise back up. So yeah, I think that's the reading. But thank you so much. And my ebook, again, is available on my Instagram, and I have a lot of really cool stuff in store, like, next week. It's gonna be big, it's gonna be explosive. I'm like kind of scared, but a lot of cool stuff for the Punk Priestess is gonna be happening in the next week and two. So just stay tuned for shout outs on my stories on the gram. But if you want a personal reading with me, I am open for readings. I'm had a little bit of a schedule conflict affliction, so I won't be relocating temporarily until next 2 weeks. So I am opening readings back up starting next week. So if you want readings, if you know someone who wants reading, you know who your girl is here. So anyways, thank you so much for tuning in, and see you later.